Welcome back to another episode of the TTS surgery. Let's go!
Yeah!
All right. So welcome to season 7. We've got Rima, Adnan, and Amber in the building. Let's go! All right. So today, what we're going to be talking about is: should it be compulsory for parents to attend teacher, parents, and meetings, basically?
1,000% yes.
1,000?
Yes.
2,000%.
I've got a
yes.
feeling you're going to say 50-50.
I mean, you read my mind. You read my mind.
Don't even try it.
50-50.
She's not well. She's not well.
50-50. What, do I have to explain?
Since
Why
you're coming with the
50-50?
lowest.
From a teacher's perspective, okay, go into school, go and see what your child is doing, go and see how they're progressing. Come and see how they're progressing in my class, or maybe not progressing. Let's talk about that. But from a parent's perspective, especially a parent working full-time, a parent that might not have as much support as in childcare and all those fabulous things, maybe it's not always possible. Parents' evening is going to be held on a Tuesday, starting from 4 to 5. Well, I don't get off until 6 o'clock, and I can't afford.
That's why we have a calendar.
I know, but sometimes, do you know what? Funny enough, I only got notification of my daughter's parents' evening last week, and it's for this coming Tuesday. Now, if I wasn't on maternity leave, there's no way I was going to be able to make that. I'm at school, ironically, teaching other people's kids.
Can I just argue against that though, and just point out that as a mother myself, and I'm taking ownership of my own responsibility, I know that when school starts in September, there's going to be a parents' evening coming up. I need to do better as a parent. I need to say, what date is year 7 parents' evening? Because my child is in year 7. And I want to prepare for that. Because we're telling the kids all the time, prepare to not fail, but fail if you don't prepare. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's like a double standard. You're saying that you're busy, okay, so why don't you arrange yourself or organize yourself better so that you can be there for something that's so important?
No, I 100% agree with you, but it's not always possible because some schools are fantastic and they have their whole year calendar mapped out. Some schools not as organized. You know, they release their calendars bit by bit. You know, maybe like 3 months ago, or every term they release what's going on then. And again, sometimes I'm not saying it's the same for everybody, but sometimes it's not possible with the way in which this information is given out to then plan around it. Sometimes things are kind of set in stone, and then you have to think about other ways in which you're going to get that bit of information. So that's maybe you calling up the schools or whatever it might be. But I'm just saying it's not always clear cut like that.
Yeah.
Adding on to that point, I understand parents are busy. I'm a full-time, I work full-time, my wife works full-time. So
And your
scheduling parents' evening is quite
It
tough.
can be difficult.
So I think, adding to your point, I think it's important to think that schools should have responsibilities there.
Yeah.
And the responsibilities, for example, in my kids' school, they do online parents' evening.
Yeah.
So if you're not
That for me was the first thing I was
possible
gonna say.
to be there physically,
Yeah.
sometimes a bit difficult. So it's important that schools take some accountability
That is
to make it
true.
more accessible for busy parents
That is so
to be
true.
there for.
Can I also
Parents'
add on
evening.
though and say, even though we're saying schools should be taking accountability of it, I think we really need to speak to the organisations a lot more that our parents are working for. Like they really need, we're human. You know, we go to work all the time. We do everything that we need to do. We have children. I feel like when you look at what parents have to go through, I don't think the system is fair. It's
not.
literally like, okay, you're a parent, so you asked to have the child, so juggle it.
Make it
Be a
work.
clown.
No, but
It's annoying.
I think what. Okay, so should parents ideally go to parents' evening and these things?
100%.
Yeah, but the
Facts.
question is, should it be made compulsory? And I'm uncomfortable with that compulsory word. How do
Yeah.
you enforce that? And
Online. So if you got
Yes.
physical and online, then that compulsory word becomes more accessible for parents and for schools. Because ultimately,
what are the
parents...
repercussions, though? I mean, how do you enforce it?
Do you know, there's some parents that I've seen who are actually working for the NHS and they will go to the toilet to do their 5-minute online interview with me to talk about their child's progress for parents' evening.
That goes
And I
back
think
to the
it's crazy.
Sorry, and I
organisation.
think places that you work should allow
Yes.
time
that is,
to let
yeah.
parents go for.
They
And
should.
this is why I say
parents'
the
evening.
system's messed up.
Their
It's not
system is
balanced.
messed up because they should, but they get away with not doing so. And they tell you, okay, take time out of your childcare days, because you get a certain amount of days where it's like, for if you've got kids, you can have this time off because your kids can't be taken care of otherwise. They would literally tell you,
Rima.
take it out of your childcare days, which is horrid.
That is
No,
horrid.
but Rima
Horrid.
Adnan, yeah, there's a famous, funny tweet that went viral years back, right? Where we all get our allocated lunch break and breaks at work, right?
Yeah.
And then a guy goes, this cigarette break thing, yeah? People that go on cigarette breaks.
Ah.
He goes, well,
not
I like frying plantain, right? So, do I get a plantain break? Yeah. So the thing
Facts.
is as hilarious as that is, right? And I know, parents and teachers, but if we're getting paid the same wage and I'm not a parent, why do you get extra time
2 extra days potentially.
to do that? Shouldn't you make it in your own time or whatever? I might be looking after. I might have other things that. Do you understand? So would that be a case of fairness if you're asking the workplace to, and employers to take time? Would that have to be?
Absolutely. If my colleagues are taking fag breaks and they're doing this on a regular basis, and then there's no policy in place to say you can't go and have a break for your child's online parents evening, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
And that
Okay.
needs to change.
All right.
Yeah.
And go on.
I was just going to say, it's funny that we're talking about it being mandatory because there's a situation where one of my colleagues recently had a student. She's never seen her parents at all in the whole 5 years of being there. And she called, this is the last one, she's in year 11 now, and she called the child's mother to see if she would come. And the mum said, I'm working, I don't really think I can make it. And anyways, she lives with her dad now. So really, her dad should be coming. And you know what? It was only because that teacher put in extra time and thought about what she said to the parent by saying to her, I understand, but 30 minutes, God loves a trier. Anytime you can put in for your son, for your daughter, this is the last parents' evening that she's ever going to have. It's year 11. It would be really good if you could come along. And then she then decided, let me call the dad as well. So after speaking to the mum then said, you know what? I'm going to speak to my manager and see if I can get off work maybe 15, 20 minutes earlier just to make it. But wait for it. Then she then calls the dad. The dad doesn't answer. She then goes to the classroom where the child is and says, pull out your phone, and calls the dad from the child's phone. The dad picks up. Wow. And then she's like, I'm sorry, sir, to bother you. I just wanted to let you know about parents' evening. Please believe the dad goes straight away on the phone. This is teacher going above and beyond to ensure that child comes. Hear the dad on the phone. I'm in a meeting. I'm actually quite big. But you answered. You picked up. Even though she called you from the school phone, now you're picking up because she's calling from your son's phone.
That is diabolical, by the way.
And then guess
I just
what?
have to say
It is diabolical.
No.
But
See,
it's
parents
only
need to
because
have
you're
accountability.
pushing. It's
I'm
only
gonna
because
disagree
she
with you.
pushed. Guess what happened?
You don't agree?
The parents who were so busy attended parents' evening. And this is what I'm saying is that we make time for things that we think is important. If somebody's died at a funeral, we all happen to attend it. Why is it that parents' evening is not equally as important?
You know what? Let me say this, yeah. Let me say this. I actually disagree a little bit. And the reason why I think you guys are...
Us lot?
You are teachers.
She's saying because she's 50-50. That's
No,
why.
you lot are teachers.
I mean,
We swayed her.
Alright.
I'm
You
back.
guys are a
I'm on
little bit...
side.
You're showing your biases here, right?
Go on.
Because you're teachers, right?
And parents.
And parents, yeah? Right? But you see what it is? Honestly speaking, right? What is parents' evening gonna do?
What?
What is it?
You need
Look
to
at all
stop.
them. See
Stop.
them? Look at them.
Stop.
Look at them. What is? Listen. I might be providing great. I'm at home. I'm in my child's life. I'm doing everything. What is that 10-minute?
That's why you don't have any children.
Over a phone call.
That's why you haven't got any kids yet.
Yeah.
remember
I'll
that.
be raising
No.
these kids.
Remember
Right?
that when you
Let
say
me
that.
give
That's
you-
blasphemy.
let me give
Remember
you-
that when you say
What
that.
is a
Let
parent?
me give you real
please,
life
please do
situation,
it,
right?
please.
It's happening as we speak
All
right
right,
now.
all right, all right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Curtis.
Curtis.
Do it.
Because
Do it.
he's the stimulus to this here what
All
we're
right,
having.
go on, let's go.
He's in year 11.
Yeah.
He is a high attaining student. Well done, boy.
Well done.
But
Clever.
he's also a 15-year-old boy. That means as lanky as he is, all he likes to do is lay about, not do sorry, Kurt. Not do any work at all, even though he should be. And because he's targeted high grades, he needs to put in a lot of work. There's not enough time in school. He needs to put in the extra work at home. Anyway, he has been told he needs to go to extra intervention classes. He hasn't been going in. Instead, he's been spending his time in Lidl, getting the bakery. That's a separate story.
you
We'll get
imagine?
back to that. But anyway, the long and short of it all is that his French teacher emailed the other day And
Went above and beyond, probably.
went above and beyond. She emailed me and she let me know that, he has not done a particular piece of work in which he desperately needs to do because his exams are coming up and
It
all,
goes towards it, yeah.
all the talk there. And I spoke to him and I asked him what's going on, and he said, Miss so and so has it in for me. She doesn't like me. I've done the work. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, is it? You're not going? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you make decisions in this house. I was unaware because you are most certainly going. And it was if I'd sat there and really listened to what he was saying and swayed with him, I would have thought, well, his French teacher doesn't know what she's talking about. What is French anyway? I'm sorry, maths and English and science and all those subjects are much more important. What's French going to do? If he fails that subject, am I going to cry over it? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? I could have really swayed with him.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And went with him. Curtis is hardworking. He's a high-attainment student. What is this woman talking about? But when I looked into what she was saying, and when I told him to bring over the work that he has apparently done, guess what? It was incomplete. It was incomplete. It was not done to a standard in which is expected of him.
And that
there was
he can
holes
do as
everywhere.
well.
Yes, and now I know I have a little bit more of an insight, and I wouldn't have this if the teacher had not contacted me, and I would not know.
So was that contact made at parents' evening?
It wasn't made at parents' evening.
I've got something to give you. Don't
It
worry.
was not made at parents' evening, but this is why it's important, because sometimes parents' evening is the only sort of opportunity in which you have to have this sort of dialogue with your child's teacher and to get this information. All of a sudden, your angel isn't so much of an angel.
Facts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
You
wait.
not just sound like you want to
Wait.
show the parents that they're, yeah?
You just said parents' evening, okay? That same scenario that I was telling you, okay?
Yeah.
That child came with their parents. They sat down, and I said to him, "Have you been revising?" "Yes, I've been revising." The dad even intervened to say, "Yes, he's been revising. He's been doing his work in his own time." The mum, on the other hand, said, "Okay, how is that going for you?" Then I said, "Well, let's look at the report, shall we?" 5, 3, 2, 1, you. What are you targeted? 5, 6, 5, 5, 5. So what happened in that moment?
Because I'm old school. Are these like these are the new grades,
like
right?
So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
targeted a 5, which is like it's
A
like
B grade.
equivalent to a
Or
CB,
CB, yeah.
But he is, however, getting below that, right?
Oh.
And what happened is they came to realize at that moment that the strategy that they're implementing at home is not working. So they then realized, and I find that us teachers are doing this a lot. We're having to tell parents, confiscate the phone. Make your child sit in the dining room. Make
Yeah.
sure they wake up at 7:30.
Yeah.
Make sure they do their work.
Yeah.
And you are constantly looking over them. It is annoying. It is stressful as parents. But the truth is, if it's not done,
It's not
then
gonna
your
happen.
child, it's not going to happen. That's
not
it.
gonna
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
I love the silence.
No, I mean, listen, I hear
Penny
it.
dropped.
The thing is, though, no. The
I
thing
think
is,
we won.
The thing
Let me
is,
drop the mic.
and obviously, I'm never going to win against professionals, right? So forgive my ignorance, but it's one of those ones where I do think that, like, I just heard this compulsory word. Look, if a parent is, kicking their ass to provide, right, and they maybe have other children, maybe they're looking after other things, whatever the case is. Like, obviously, I see the importance of it,
Yeah.
but again, that 10-minute meeting, I can see now why you're saying actually no, that's just as important as most other things. That's what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Right?
It should
I
be
could
both,
concede
though.
to
You're
that.
right, because some parents have got it.
Yeah.
Got it
Okay.
hard.
Okay then. Well then, there you have it. And again, if you've got any questions regarding today's episode, message us. If you've got any, questions or scenarios you want to get into, message us. And yeah, that concludes another episode of the Teachers Surgery. Let's go. All right.